Welcome to Sustainer. I'm Allan Davidson, and today I'm together with my guests Olga Kuri and Celine Mousa here at Sustainer. And now on to our interview, talking about the role of Web3 and network states of the future. When we talked, when we spoke, you talked about Web3 as creating community for aligning interests of professionals and the financial world.
Yeah, it's actually pretty different. It's touching different areas and different spectrums. For example, people who are interested to build in tech, but they have limited possibilities in their countries. So Web3 is something that gives you the opportunity to work with different teams and collaborate with different people all over the world to build together one particular project, what you're interested in. And Pop-Up City is actually bringing this whole people together to meet in person, to build in person, because building in person is much faster than building online. So Pop-Up City was created last year by Vitalik in Montenegro, which lasted for 2 months. And different people from different backgrounds, from mostly crypto, was brought together to find out what people want in Web3, what we would like to see on the market, what we're interested about, how to stay healthy together, how to collaborate together, how to create a new governance. So they're all people with own interests, but they're coming together and sharing their knowledge to come up with the idea how to change it.
Fascinating. Is there plans to do another pop-up city model of that kind?
Now there's many pop-up cities appearing all over the world. They all have their own directions. The original one, Zuzalu, I know that it's happening in Brussels, but it's going to be something like a demo mode. It's not going to be the same as the one in Montenegro, because original one lasted for 2 months, and this one is going to last for a week or two, which is like a super small amount of time, because you want these people to become your friends, your family, or something like tech bros and sisters, of course. So yeah, it's still happening, but now it's divided into many other little cities all over the world.
Cool. Now you talked also about how Web3 provides, not only does it help create communities, such as you're talking about here, but it also helps align the interests of the different groups involved. It's a better job than anything we've had in the past. Why?
I mean, you have the opportunity to collaborate with the people from the different backgrounds, and you can pick the team with whom you're working. In Web2, it's often you just have to agree to whoever is on the team already. And in Web3, you can just pick with whom you would like to work. You can follow their past projects too, and find the projects that you're interested about. You can bring your ideas and find the people who are thinking alike. And Web3 is just something, even like if you're building together, you can figure out what's going to be the share for everyone participating in a particular project. So it's more equal, it's more fair, you're a creator of this and you're getting benefit from that. It's not some kind of a company who will benefit from wherever you create.
Interesting. And now, Celine, you've been applying some of that technology, I believe, or looking to implement it, to track things in government, see where improvement can be made. Mm-hmm. And tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how you're doing it and why.
Oh, wow. Why is a good question. I think why is more because we got upset, most of us. I think if you actually look into whatever field, whatever institutionalized system right now, that at some point you get frustrated, no matter if you are in politics, in academia, just in any other like formal business. And we kind of try to tap into different technological advancements of understanding if we can use power dynamics and power tools to actually build a future that we feel more comfortable with. A future that for us could be more sustainable, and that not only a few can profit, but actually more on a bigger scale. A lot of people, a lot of communities could profit from. So this is how we started tapping into tech, into applying, for example, certain technologies that also would intersect with blockchain, but also others, such as IoT, big data, AI. So it's a very, very big project, but we're trying to channel different energies and different fields to actually think more of a systematic change. When we all feel or like think about governance structures, financial markets, really traditional systems, and how we can restructure them inherently. And that's why we have like the tooling of Web3, but also not necessarily Web3, but tech, wisdom of local communities, which I think is also very interesting around Web3, because it does bring very highly aligned people together that do share a certain kind of mission, that share a vision, and they want to see something more advanced or implemented in the real world. And that's a little bit the narratives that we tap into.
So let's try and look at a concrete example.
So if we think about, for example, systematic change around governance or finance, what does that mean? We feel, so we have, for example, a certain community that we work with in a certain location that is suffering through different injustices. Let's say an environmental injustice, so they cannot breathe because of outside pollutants. So what we have figured out is, of course, now with technological advancements, you can actually have an evidence of these kind of injustices. So you can capture pollutants, and you can also make the correlation towards your health metrics. Meaning, if I'm in a polluted state or like surrounding, I can see the effect on my personal health and my personal body. Okay, so this you can capture nowadays. So you can actually have a form of evidence and a form of case around what is happening locally on the ground. It brings you awareness, knowledge, a form of understanding, and an insight that you could never, like normal communities cannot really tap in. So we saw this as a very big empowerment tool. And then we were thinking about, okay, what does that mean? What can we actually do with this evidence? And in the end, you can really think about, if you take it one step further, it's not just bringing awareness to a certain kind of issue, but then also trying to create solutions. And the solutions for us were very much more of a financial and governance matter. So when you, for example, say, okay, we have a community that is suffering from breathing injustices, and we need to provide them with liquid oxygen, but nobody cares. How can we, as a community, bring in the right resources and allocate the resources together? And that's a little bit the beauty where we tapped into kind of community governance, community finances. How can we, for a very, very common and pressuring cause, bring in brains, talents, but also the economic power of the people within, and try to create systems within to actually empower the individual and then also elevate the communal cause. That's a bit what we're tapping into.
How far along are you on this project?
So because we are collaborating with a lot of projects, everyone has a little bit their own pathway. So we have developing this for actually a few years from a research angle, and in implementation, there are really communities all along, like all around the world, that have been implemented it in different scales. But we're working now more closely with one that is actually considering more sustainable practices around plastic management on the ground and like informal waste picking as a contribution to sustainable economics. And also regenerative economics. And they have been practicing this for almost, I think, 2 to 3 years.
How does the network state actually tie together with the whole idea of Web3, or does it?
It does. I think the network state is just a very organic or normal evolution of what Web3 is trying to embrace. So I mean, with crypto and the advancement in cryptography, or like even money, but you can
You
also
don't
have
have
a
to
different...
contribute to the one project all the time. You can be in many different projects too. And the network state can contain the people from the different DAOs to different autonomous organizations. So you don't have to come with the one idea. It can be many proposals what community will decide and vote. In the network state, you're getting a like voting. Once you're getting a passport, like this digital passport, you have a vote.
So the thing is, with the network state, because people really don't understand where this comes from. So if you think about what actually Web3 is about, it's a form of autonomy around finances, of course, but it can be in so many different fields. It's a little bit more of thinking about power structures and how we can tap into decentralizing such. So instead of a world where you have centralization, where you have a lot of power with a few, now it's a narrative of how about we multiply and also distribute that power to a lot. And that's a little bit what decentralization is playing in, and you have it in diverse fields. So you have it in the fields of economics, but you can also have it in politics and governance, in research and open science and so on. And how I see personally the evolution of the network state was more coming from actually these economic and financial advancements within crypto, that we have currencies, that we can actually have a form of purchasing power alone with currencies that are not necessarily backed to any like fiat, like any normal currency now, like the euro or the US dollar, but we're creating an alternative economy. And then the other step would be, okay, if we have an economy, can we actually evolve into something like a statehood? And this is a little bit the narrative around network state as well. So can we bring all of these technological findings into a place, into a territory of people that are aligned? So with a community, with a population that wants a certain vision in life to be addressed, and then have the economic means, the governance means, the financial means. And that's a little bit how a network state came to being. It's really from online communities gathering together to create something on the ground that they're more aligned with.
There's definitely, if you're searching for people with the same mind, dive deeply into research about Web3. Find the people who are like the same or similar thinking, or just people who inspire you. It's so easy to do that. It's so easy to contact these people because usually they're like open to share this knowledge and open to collaborate. So it's open for everyone. You just have to dig deeper a little bit.
Yeah. It's a really fast-paced industry, and I think I would always say stay critical. So it all sounds very nice and romantic, but in the end, you're playing at the edge of power, and this is something that one should always keep in mind, because we're also only people. We all have our own fallacies. We didn't really overcome the human condition in that sense, but I think it's an interesting tool to play around with and experiment.
And definitely not all of the people are like kind-hearted and everything. There's still a little bit of evil in our world.
Schemes.
Yeah, but this is more about trust, more about elevating and collaborating together. It's not only about one person. It's like working in the community, but in the same time benefiting the creator. So it's all in one.
It's basically leveraging the power of all, but human and non-human alike. That's how I would think of it. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. That's great. Thank you for joining me. I'm Allan Davidson, and together with our guests, Olga Kuri and Celine Mousa, it's been a pleasure to share this conversation with you. Coming in through a door and...
Hello.
We have a guest on the podcast.
No, Olga, we didn't start.
You didn't start yet?
No, but we're going to start now.
Everything on video.
Yeah.
You captured. There's no
that would be
escaping.
this should be the video in the end, you know, the awkward moments.
Too many.
We could actually have a glass of wine or so. Local wine.
Ooh, that instead of a cigar, yeah, I like that.
A joint?
Nice.
Our talking.
It's all being recorded.
It's okay. We're
This
free
is
to talk about this.
PJ
In Germany, it's legalized.
For one shot.
We're horrible for a podcast, you know? We can
I
sit
think
and
it was
chat
probably
for
the most
hours.
entertaining podcast. But we got to just cut out all the other stuff and just keep this. And we'll have a great podcast, lots of fans. Yeah, just your name.
We can
and
share
title.
our OnlyFans too.
That's fine. That sounds like more fun. That sounds like lots of fun.
That's why we're staying together
Sounds entertaining.
all the time.
Cut.
Thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure. Debbie. That was pretty spectacular. I didn't do anything. I was innocent.
I told you it's a pretty dangerous spot. I'm so sorry.
Just go.
Okay.